Now, y'all know me. I come in, I'm confident. Thank you. We're going to see.
You know, for those who out there, you know,
yeah, man,
started the show already, but
another, we have.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. I'm just talking.
Nah, it's all good.
It's good.
Big conversations going on before the show. That's why we're a little late, but it's all good, man.
Yeah, man.
It's another episode of the Fantasy. Got Sean in here, got Twan in here, got Mech in here. We're in week 10 of the NFL season, and you're watching the Fantasy with SJT. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video. You know what I'm saying?
Share right now.
That's
Let people
important.
know.
That does a lot for us, man.
Share.
You know what I'm saying? If you fuck with the content, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, we've been doing this shit for years now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We giving y'all that good fantasy advice, you know what I'm saying, every week during the NFL season. So, you know what I'm saying, subscribe to the channel, get it out to your homies if you fuck with the content that we're making. And yeah, man, that's that. So you know what we're here for? We're here to do the Start Ems and the Sit Ems. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into that. Twan has the Start Ems this week, right?
Yeah, I got the Start Ems, bro. I got the Start Ems.
So let's get into that.
I've been getting to the start. We're gonna start with the QBs. I like my man Tom this week. We're Seattle. I mean, I feel like he got a great matchup this week. I mean, you know, Seattle don't really play too much defense. I like the matchup. You know, he's coming off a comeback win against the Rams. You know, he's the all-time leader right now in comeback wins. So hopefully he don't have a comeback win this week, but hopefully he's just slinging the rock. He's been throwing the ball a lot. I mean, Seahawks 22nd against QBs in fantasy this year. Those who got Tom Brady, I know you might have had him on the bench last week. I benched him. I benched him last week. I mean, unfortunately, I took an L. Regardless if he was in there, I would have still lost. But it is what it is. So, you know, took a little gamble. But at the same time, side note, my bad. I said I was gonna post my score this week. I know we didn't get to that.
Yeah.
I lost this week. Hey, Matt, shout out to Matt. I lost. You know, I talk my shit too, and said I was gonna beat Matt. But you know, hey, I lost last week, so it is what it is. I lost by 14. They tried on Monday night. They almost had me. AK, where you at, man?
I was like, it's 2013.
Yeah, same time.
AK did what he's supposed to do.
If AK would, I mean, but the Ravens defense probably would have lost points too. So I mean, regardless, I was in like, you know, gift and the curse. But regardless, you know, all his receivers are healthy. Back to Tom Brady, all his receivers are healthy. I think they're gonna be all right in Germany. This game might be up and down the field because the Bucs defense ain't look too good. So the game script, Tom Brady might have to throw. You could probably start Tom Brady against Seattle this week. All right, the next guy I got on my list is Justin Fields. Ayo, Justin Fields looked really, really good these last 3 games.
Last couple weeks, man.
Playing good football, man.
Yeah, man, playing excellent football in terms of fantasy. They haven't really like turned into wins too much, but you know, he has 3 straight games of 22 plus fantasy points. You want nothing less from your quarterback. He has a very high floor due to his rushing ability. I like the matchup this week. Detroit is 30th against quarterbacks in fantasy this year so far, going into week 10. So you could definitely fire up Justin Fields if you got him. I like Justin Fields as a potential QB1 finish this week due to the rushing ability. You know, if I mean, you know, like Fields, 61-yard touchdown rushes from your quarterback. I mean, that's a 12-point play. Like you can't, like
you said, floor is high.
Yeah,
just because of that.
It's at the floor. Like
quarterback,
you know, like,
that can go for 60.
Yeah, like come on, like you know he ain't trusting his receivers. They just got Claypool. He said, "Fuck this guy. I'm still taking off." So I mean, I like Fields this week. If you got Fields, you could definitely fire him up over a lot of players out there. The third guy on my list, I like Trevor Lawrence. I like Trevor Lawrence this week. You know, for real, surprisingly, Trevor Lawrence is ranked number 9. He's the number 9 ranked quarterback in fantasy, meaning that he's a starter. 10-team league, you know, you're playing with at least 10 people, hopefully. But yeah, you're playing with at least 10 people in fantasy out there. You know, he has Kansas City. It hasn't been pretty, but he's been really productive. I think the game script in KC, he's gonna have to throw, you know, Mahomes in that offense, regardless of who they playing, he's gonna have to throw to keep up. I mean, it just is what it is when you go into KC. And also, KC is 25th against QBs this year in fantasy. So I would definitely fire up Trevor Lawrence, given the game script. ETN's going to get his. He's not on the stardom list. He's an automatic starter. So I mean, I just think that Trevor Lawrence will definitely play a part in this game as well.
Trevor Lawrence is another guy that is great with his legs that people don't really understand.
Exactly.
So he gets it done that way also. So that helps his fantasy value also.
All right, man. This is my sit my drink pick right here for the QBs. You know what I'm saying? I got Andy Dalton at number 4.
Yeah, that's a dart right there. That's a dart.
Andy Dalton been solid. Andy Dalton been pretty solid as a game.
Been pretty
manager,
decent,
you know, as a game manager. Despite last week, you guys gotta look. The Ravens defense is just they're different, man. They got Roquan, they got Roquan, Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey, they got Patrick Queen, they got Calais Campbell back last week. It was bad. At the end of the day, overlooked that. It's the Ravens defense is a tough game, but now they get Pittsburgh. No TJ Watt. They're 28th against QBs in fantasy this year. I like him as a good streamer this week against a low end defense. I like him this week. I really do. I think if you got your QB on the bye, Andy Dalton might be able to. He might not be able to get your QB that's on the bye. You know, those exact fantasy points. He might get you between the 16, 18 range. He's going to definitely throw one. We're going to talk about Olave soon on the stardom list. So definitely fire up Andy Dalton if you're looking for a streamer this week. All right, we're going to roll into the running backs real quick. I like Jeff Wilson Jr. and Raheem Mostert against the Cleveland Browns. So I like both of these running backs. I think both of these running backs should produce. You know, Jeff Wilson Jr. coming over from San Fran. If anybody knows the history behind Raheem Mostert, he came over from San Fran. That's why I think that he had a lot of production. You know, the coach was the offensive coordinator for San Fran last year for the Miami Dolphins. He was the offensive coordinator. So those who don't know, I mean, now you know. I think that both of them have a potential field day coming up against Cleveland this week. Cleveland is ranked 29th against running backs this week. Overlooked Joe Mixon's performance. You know, they was a little banged up, but they got back on track. It was I'm not gonna say you know, Cleveland they held it down last week. They held it down against the Bengals, Joe Mixon, you know, but Joe Mixon, he did his thing the following week. Needless to say, Cleveland's 29th against running backs in fantasy this year, despite their performance against Joe Mixon that last week. So I wouldn't buy too much into that. They also have two of the leading receivers on the outside. So with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, they can't play 8 in the box. It's going to be a lot of open running lanes with Jeff Wilson Jr. and Raheem Mostert. If they decide to alternate these guys, I think that Waddle and Hill, you're starting those guys 100%. But I think there's going to be running lanes all over this. I like Miami to blow this game open. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, but I don't think that the Browns offense might be able to put up too many points. It depends on how Miami's offense goes, but we'll see. I think that both of these running backs might be top 20 plays this week, depending on how the game flow of this game goes. Jeff Wilson Jr. came in last week. I feel like he knew the plays. I feel like he had no issues. You know, I like Raheem Mostert in his offense as well going forward. So I think both of these guys eat. I feel like it's going to be like a Cleveland Browns type backfield going forward. Next guy I got is Tony Pollard at Green Bay. Pollard, he might have the backfield to himself again this week. You know, it depends on if Zeke is still a little banged up or not. Zeke practiced today, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see how Zeke does. But the last time we saw Pollard, man, he had 131 yards and 3 touchdowns. But here's the thing, man. He had it on 14 carries. Like, that's crazy.
He's a big play guy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, needless to say, I mean, he's explosive. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, like he's explosive. Like this guy gets the ball and he might be gone. He might be gone.
Like, any given play, Pollard.
I seen cuts that he made last week, and I texted. You know, I text my group chat all the time full of Dallas fans. I text them like, look, Zeke's not making that cut. You know, like Zeke's not making that cut. Like that cut for that TD. Yeah. Like Zeke's not doing that. So if you got Pollard, like fire him up, start him. I would start Zeke too if he plays. You know, I mean, I just think that is a you know, Green Bay's middle of the pack. They're 19th against running backs this year in fantasy, but if Zeke is out, Pollard is definitely a top 10 play for me. I like Pollard in any game that Zeke does not play. Does not play. Jesus Christ. All right, but does not play. So the next guy on my list is going to be Khalil Herbert for you know, Chicago Bears. I'm right here. I'm needless to say, let's call a spade a spade. Khalil Herbert is a better running back than David Montgomery.
They not ready to give it to him though.
Spades is spade, man.
They like
Spades
David
is
Montgomery
spade,
is the
man.
name. We gotta give him the ball.
We've seen the film. We've been here. You know, we're 10 weeks in. When this guy gets the ball, he makes stuff happen. Shit happen. Make shit happen, man. I mean, it just I like Khalil Herbert. I like what he does. I like how he finds the hole. I think he breaks a long one in this game. It's a great matchup. He has Detroit this week, the same as Justin Fields. You know, if it's not Justin Fields killing them with their legs, it might be Khalil Herbert. David Montgomery, I just don't think he's a better running back than Khalil Herbert. So we'll see. But at the same time, they're 27th against running backs in fantasy this year. If I had him, I would definitely fire him up in the flex. I like his potential. I like the potential. Don't go off the projection that you may see based off the game script and everything. But I like Khalil Herbert to get enough touches to break one this week. He's a top 25 play for me this week. He's potential top 20 play for me this week. I like him. I'm gonna sip to my last one too. You know, Tyler Algier. I'm gonna sip to my man real quick. You know, only because there's a lot going on in Atlanta. You know, Algier, he was still able to produce last week, even though Patterson returned to the lineup. Patterson had 2 TDs, so you know, shout out to y'all who got Patterson fired up. I'll definitely fire up Patterson. I'm not saying bench Patterson at all, but Algier was still able to produce. This Atlanta Falcons team, they run the ball probably. They're the top 3 in the league in terms of running the ball. He actually had his highest rushing total of the year last week with Patterson back. He had 99 yards on 10 carries, and he caught a pass for 24 yards. So I think that he's definitely still involved in the offense. Definitely not taking nothing away from Tyler. I think that they're trying to get him acclimated because next year he's definitely going to be the guy. Carolina is 30th against running backs in fantasy this year. I think he has a solid game on Thursday night. You know, it's a short week. Usually teams on short weeks, they run the ball a lot. They like to dumb it down in regards to game film. I think that game script, the first 15 plays, the script is going to have a lot of Patterson, a lot of Algier. You know, the Panthers, they might be in rebuild mode. Who knows? The only person I know in that defense right now is Brian Burns. Jeremy Chin might play, but he's in the secondary, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I think Tyler Algier is going to be a serviceable running back this week. Top 30, 25 play this week for me, Tyler Algier. All right. We're going to move on to the wide receivers. I like Juju Smith-Schuster, man. Hey, look, man. Hey, shout out to John. Hey, John, if you out there, man, my bad, dog. I said don't mention Juju in this chat ever again.
We said a lot of bad shit about Juju.
Look, we just like went on Juju. Hey, dog, we just like
why,
man? What?
Why?
Because 3 weeks ago, you scum of the earth, nigga.
Scum of the earth.
I was like,
it's trash.
He was
garbage.
out of Antonio Brown's coach.
Trash.
But
yeah.
Trash.
He's
He's
looking like Pat Mahomes' best option.
Boy, I was putting
second best option.
I was putting Juju out on the curb at Sunday nights, nigga. Trash night, nigga. Trash.
Throw him in a dumpster.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. This has to go.
Right. You know how you don't live in an apartment complex. Yeah. You go there to throw your trash.
Yeah.
That was Juju. Go,
nigga. Yeah, nigga. Raw meat, nigga. Gotta go. But at the same time, man, yo, Juju has come alive in the last 3 games, man. He's come alive, man. He's the top receiver on the offense with the best quarterback in the league. I mean, he definitely separated himself from the rest of the pack. I like Cole Hardman on those end rounds. That's great, but it can only last for so long. We'll see. You know, he's had no less than 13 half PPR points in the last 3 games. Like 13 and half PPR. If you start them in full PPR, you might be winning your games off of Juju, off the late. So I mean, I like Juju going forward. Jacksonville 24th against wide receivers this year in fantasy. If they decide to throw the ball against these guys, then hey, it's gonna be the Juju and Kelsey show. I like Juju going forward. I do, man. Juju's been doing this thing. The next guy on my list, I like Jerry Jeudy. I like Jerry Jeudy as the top wide receiver in the Broncos offense moving forward. You know, Cortland Sutton, he came on strong in the beginning of the year, but at the same time, Judy's been a beneficiary before going into the bye. I definitely like him. He has 13 half-point PPR points in the last 2 games. I think it continues. You know, coming out the bye, he didn't get traded. I feel like he's going to have a chip on the shoulder because, you know, he didn't get shipped off. The Broncos might see something in him. Titans are 30th against wide receivers this year in fantasy. So I like Juju's prospects this week. I think that he finishes as the top 25 receiver this week. I like him too. The next guy on my list, I got Chris Olave. Olave probably won't be on this list after this week, depending on how this game goes, because he's the 16th ranked wide receiver in fantasy right now. Olave is looking like a wide receiver 1 on a lot of teams. He is he's balling. And needless to say, the Saints passing offense hasn't looked really great. It hasn't looked great at all. So but when they throw, they go to Olave. Even last week against Baltimore, the offense looked like shit, but at the same time, the person that they was throwing the ball to was Olave. I seen 12 a lot. 12, right?
I think so.
I seen 12 a lot. I like him this week. I would definitely any prop bets. I would definitely put Olave as anytime touchdown scorer. I think that he might get in the zone this week against Pittsburgh's defense. He's had only 3 games this year with less than 10 half-point PPR fantasy points. Only 3 games with less than that he played in, and a lot of those games came in the beginning of the season. So Olave, hey, look, I don't know if he got a competition going with Garrett Wilson, his man from Ohio State, but he's outshining him right now. He's gonna be running wide in the Pittsburgh defense this week, as they are ranked last against wide receivers in fantasy. I think that Dennis Allen might know that, even though he's a defensive-minded coach. I think that they're gonna throw the ball a lot. You're firing up AK if you got AK. Even if you got Juwan Johnson, you might throw him out there too. I didn't put him on a stardom, so you're not gonna hear nothing about him. But Olave, I got Dalton starting. I think Dalton is going to have a good game. I think the beneficiary of that's going to be Olave and AK. You already firing up AK, so we're not going to throw him on the list. But Olave at Pitt, I like him. Fire him up.
I agree with everything you just said. But
So
if you're a bad man, you are not putting Olave for anytime touchdown.
Why not?
Don't do it.
Why not?
Because he's not going to score a touchdown.
So you giving money to the Bucks?
I think so.
I mean, but how
I
many
think
TDs?
anytime touchdowns needs to be like a guy that you think is guaranteed.
Nah,
but
but
you're trying-
No.
Because the thing
if
is,
you want to win money,
because I'm about to
you're-
look right now what his anytime touchdown is going for.
So
the value might be there.
touchdowns does he have this season?
That's what we're looking at.
2?
That's a good question.
Exactly. But he's
You know,
bound to score. He's
you know-
bound to score more than 2.
I cashed on the
Yeah,
Chris
last-
Olave
yeah,
touchdown
yeah.
this year.
You know what I'm saying?
I cashed on the Chris Olave touchdown this year. No cap.
Hey, but at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you look at it too. They're last against wideouts in fantasy. This is the week that he potentially scores a touchdown.
I think this is the week that he gets down the field and AK scores touchdown.
I mean, AK scored 3 2 weeks ago. I mean, at the same time, AK and Olave can both.
Taysom Hill's gonna
No,
score
no,
all the
I agree.
touchdowns.
You know, but at the same
hopefully
time,
not.
I like Olave. I like Olave against the last ring.
I
like him too. But I
They
feel
don't
what
got
you're saying.
the
I
they don't
feel
got
what
the
you're saying.
TD odds up yet.
Like, if you're a safe betting guy, maybe not. But at the same time, if you want,
dart throw,
want to like
dart throw, little.
It's not.
That's
I wouldn't
why-
say it's even a dart. throw. It's
Olave
not a
is
dart
gonna be
throw.
like a plus 125. Like I see him being like plus 125.
I mean, against this defense,
No,
yeah,
he's their number 1 option at wide receiver. Like
for sure.
they're not gonna give you
MT,
plus 200.
No more MT in the passing game for the rest of the year. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like
I'm trying to act like I bet.
plus
225.
Right. I see you.
That's
But
off
nah,
rare.
nah,
That's
but
off
at the
niggas.
same
That's
time,
like
I
rare.
like-
That's what's that? The tight end name? Ton. What's the
Juwan Johnson.
No, the tight end.
Oh,
What's the New Orleans tight end? We was talking about him one day.
Juwan
Nah.
Johnson.
That's their tight end.
Yes.
It was the Adam Troutman.
Troutman.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Nah,
about.
it's
Yeah.
Juwan.
He's
now.
like a plus 200 tight end type. I mean, plus
Yeah.
200 TD type nigga. That's
Yeah.
what-
Man, he might be plus. Yeah, he might be plus like 4th,
At
5th.
this point,
I mean, but at the same time, like you might increase your bet off of Olave scoring a touchdown. We'll see. We'll get into it, but
a little
I
2
mean-
touchdown score. It's like nah.
whoa. I mean, if I would have put,
Hey,
Drake
you can score 1, you can score
Drake-
2.
Drake scored
You
2
can only
TDs
put
last
running
week.
backs in
So,
that- in that
so I mean,
That's not
you know,
even true, man.
That
This
is-
nigga AJ Brown just had 3.
I know, but
Michael Thomas had 2 in the beginning of the year. Or was it 3?
Keenan Drake had 2
Yeah, he had
last
2.
week, man.
I'm saying
Receivers be getting multiple touchdowns in the
When?
game.
I mean,
Nigga, we just named 3 or 4. Like
I know, but I'm just
Stephon
saying.
Diggs is good for a couple touchdowns
good
in the
for
game.
1.
Maybe not
I mean,
this
it's
week,
tough.
but
It's
Diggs
tough.
is good for 1.
I mean,
some
Kelsey-
yards.
he had 3 touchdowns in the game earlier this season. What are you talking about? He had 3 touchdowns in the game earlier this year, didn't he?
Move on.
Stephon Diggs.
We're
He
gonna
did.
move on to the 4th.
But we have running backs in the same week put up
Can't
3
move on, gang.
touchdowns.
Gang.
You
Can't
know what I
move
mean?
on, gang.
Running backs.
Swan said he wants to move
I know we're
on.
gonna let him move on, but we have running backs
He got
in
settled this
1
point.
week had 3 touchdowns.
Who?
Christian McCaffrey,
Uh-huh.
Foreman.
That nigga Mixon went dumb.
No,
Christian McCaffrey,
Foreman, and AK in 1 week.
Oh, you
1
talking
week.
about a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, 2
Yeah,
weeks ago.
I'm
They
just
all
saying
had
you,
3 TDs.
you got that from running backs. Like,
That was
Yeah.
crazy.
No, you get that from receivers too. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Sean, you don't want to.
We had that in 1 week.
But I'm trying to tell you.
We had that. You're not going to find 3 receivers. You're not going to find 3 receivers getting 3 touchdowns in one game in 1 week.
Yeah, maybe not.
That's what I'm saying.
You're not going to pick running back or any position. You're not going to find that. I'm saying
if you're going to pick a 2 or 3 touchdown score, you're going to put it on a running back, not a wide receiver. Running backs.
That's not true.
Running backs.
You're going to put it on anybody that you think is going to score.
A receiver has to get the ball thrown to him. So it's
what are you talking? A running back has to get the ball handed to him. What are you talking about, Sean? Like teams throw more than they pass sometimes. Like sometimes, depending on what team you are, you have a better chance of getting more touchdowns than the running back on that same team. Depending on what team you are.
Yeah,
that's true.
You think D Hop has a better chance of getting 2 touchdowns than whoever the running back in Arizona is?
Yes.
It's probably like
Stephon Diggs more than the running back in fucking Buffalo.
100%.
Yeah. So what are you talking about?
It's not.
You're talking about AK, Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, they get the ball every fucking down. Yeah.
Bro, I just told you.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Devontae Foreman gets the ball.
Who's the receiver over there?
Derrick Henry.
Who's the receiver? Derrick Henry. Yeah, he's the only guy there.
I just told you.
I won on it. I won that. But
Derrick Henry multiple touchdowns.
This is what I've been saying. So your argument. You tell me a week in the last 10 years that a wide receiver.
Oh my God.
You tell me a week in the last 10 years that that wide receiver scored 3 or more touchdowns. 3 wide receivers scored 3 or more touchdowns. I don't fucking know,
bro.
That probably never happened ever in life.
Yeah, but it just happened 2 weeks ago. It just happened 2 weeks ago for your example. So, like, of course you can name one. I don't know when the last time it happened because I got to go in the books.
Multiple touchdowns, like 2 or more touchdowns.
Last week, AJ Brown had 3. And I'm sure there was a receiver that had 2. I'm sure.
I said 3.
Sean?
No.
AJ Brown had 3 2 weeks ago.
No, I'm talking about 3.
Yeah. But that's just a specific
I'm just saying,
parameter for your point.
Running backs have a higher chance of scoring touchdowns than wide receivers. And that is a fact.
That's a fact.
If you look up
I don't know if that's a fact. I think that 100% depends on what team you're on.
Scores,
that 100% depends on what team
all-time touchdown scores, rushing, it's going to be way more than a wide receiver catching passes, bro. Randy Moss has the record. Yeah, 23.
Yeah. And there's some running backs who don't get 23 in a year.
No, but I'm saying there's multiple running backs that have more than 23 in a year.
Yeah, but there's also
Randy Moss has the record with 23.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a bunch of running backs that don't get 23 in a year. Depends on what team you're on. That was my point. It depends on what team.
No point. My
Stephon Diggs is going to finish with more touchdowns than whatever running back on Buffalo is.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
One team, bro.
Yeah.
That's an example, bro. You're talking about one day where wide receiver scored more, and then running back more touchdowns than wide receiver. It's about one day.
If you look at year in, year out,
about?
Running backs are going to score more touchdowns. That's just a proven fact.
That's not my point,
because
bro.
running backs can get it on the ground,
my point.
and they can get it in the air.
That's not my point.
The next guy on the list. Yeah, that's all.
It's always going to be a proven fact.
Last guy on the list. We got Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis versus Minnesota.
Yeah, he had 4 touchdowns in the game too. Yeah,
got him as
another guy that had multiple touchdowns in the game.
I never said they never had multiple.
This is the boom or bust candidate of the year. The boom or bust award goes to Gabe Davis, but at the end of the day,
this is a boom week.
I think this is a boom week for Gabe.
I
think this is a boom week for Gabe. I like Gabe this week. I mean, I think this game's going to be high scoring against Minnesota's defense, they can be exploited. You know. Curtis Samuel caught a deep one last week. He's the second wide receiver on Washington. Second wide receiver on Buffalo is Gabe. I mean,
the math is just mathing.
But you know, it is. You know, when fantasy is a game about analytics. You gotta
trends.
You gotta definitely do it. You gotta look at the trends. You know what I'm saying? But this is he's on the stardom list. Basically, if Josh Allen plays in this game, if Case Keenum is a stardom, if he's the starter for the Buffalo Bills this week, then I'll probably go somewhere else. I mean, you're starting Diggs regardless, but at the end of the day, Gabe Davis is basically on this list if Josh Allen plays. I like Gabe Davis versus Minnesota's second corner. Don't know who it is. I just know it's not Patrick Peterson. I think this game's gonna be high scoring. I mean, he hasn't had more than 5 half-point PPR points in the last 2 games, but when he shows up, it's in a really big way. You know, like he booms. When I say when he booms, he wins your week. When this guy comes through, I think that he comes through. They're at home. He has a soft matchup versus Minnesota. I feel like they know. Like lately, Gabe hasn't been really involved in the passing game. So Minnesota's defense is ranked 27th against wideouts in fantasy this year. I like Gabe Davis this week. Last week I had him on the sit him. He didn't really do too much, but at the same time, this week I got him on the stardoms. Those who follow the show usually right about 75% of the time. So we'll see this week. Hopefully we fire him up this week, man. I like my man this week. I really do like Gabe versus Minnesota.
You was shitting on Gabe last week.
I was
for the
and
record.
he didn't do shit.
No, yeah, you're right.
He didn't do shit. He caught like one ball, so 2 balls or some shit. Like he was trash last week. Well, I mean, the matchup was awful. The next guy I got on my list is Greg Dulcich, man. Hey, look, those who don't know about Greg Dulcich, man, you need to go out there and get him. I don't know if he's on your waiver wire still or not. If he's still out there, then hey, your league is loafing because it's not Greg Dulcich. One thing we will say, it's not Greg Dulcich. It's Greg. It's Greg Dulcich. I know I sent this correctly when I sent it in, but at the same time, look, at Tennessee's not really good against tight ends. You know, they're 27th against tight ends in fantasy. They're not really good against the pass, as you can see, because I got Jerry Jeudy up there as well, but not Russ, because Russ might throw a pick or two. But at the same time, I like Greg Dulcich, man. The last 3 games, you know, Greg Dulcich hasn't had less than 10 PPR points in fantasy. He almost scored last week. The week before the bye, he almost scored. He got stopped at the 1. Greg Dulcich has been involved ever since he's been back from injury. I like Greg Dulcich's prospects moving forward. I think that he's going to ball. I think that he's a solid producer in that Denver offense. You know, Russell Wilson, he's kind of turning into the check down king for those who don't know. So you can't get the outside receivers the ball outside of Jeudy, who makes stuff happen. After he's a yak guy. But I like Greg Dulcich against Tennessee. I think he's going to be involved. This guy's seeing more than like 5 targets a game. That's what you want from your tight end. You want the tight end to be involved in some type of way. So I like Greg Dulcich. If you can get Greg Dulcich right now, if you got a tight end on the bye, you know, Mark Andrews, I say likely those 2 guys. Those are the only 2 guys I really know that's worth mentioning right now on the bye. So I would definitely plug in Greg Dulcich for sure. I like another guy I had throw on my list right now is Kyle Pitts. You know, Kyle Pitts is only on the hey, look. Carolina's ranked 13th against tight ends. So Carolina's pretty solid against tight ends. But the last time that he played Carolina, he had 9 targets, 5 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown. I'm going to take that into account because, you know, Kyle Pitts hasn't really had the year that you guys want him to have. He's 18th in half point PPR points in fantasy. But if we're going to go off for 2 weeks ago, Kyle Pitts did his thing against Carolina. He probably won some people there weeks because they wasn't expecting 18 points from Kyle Pitts. I like Kyle. Chill out. I like Kyle, man. You know, I know you really got to, I'm gonna speed it up for you, bro. But at the same time, Kyle Pitts, you know, Kyle Pitts has been doing this thing. I like Kyle Pitts against Carolina this week. I do like him. TJ Hawkinson is the next guy on this list. So look, they got him acclimated quick in that Vikings offense. He did his thing last week against Washington. He gets Buffalo this week. Once again, this is another game where I feel like, you know, Buffalo defense might even show up to play, but Hawkinson is different, man. He's a top tier tight end. I think that he keeps it going this week. He had 9 targets last week, 9 catches last week, 70 yards, 11.5 PPR points. You know, you translate that over to PPR, he probably had north of 15. So at the same time, I like Hawkinson. I think he's definitely going to be involved. He's a tight end 1. Kirk Cousins definitely likes to check it down. Irv Smith, drop him. He's gone. Next guy on my list, I like Noah Fant this week. Hey, look, Noah Fant, man, he came alive last week. I'm about to pull up Noah's stats for y'all. Hey, look, Noah last week, he had 6 targets, 5 catches, 96 yards. He didn't even score. He had 12.1 half point PPR points. So if Noah's out there, definitely fire up Noah. I like Noah in this matchup. They're 23rd against tight ends this week. The team that he's playing Tampa Bay, whose defense is kind of being a little bit of Swiss cheese. All right, the next team I got on my list is defensive special teams. We're gonna go to defense special teams. Saints at Pitt. You already know how I feel about Pittsburgh. They're trash. They're in the rebuilding mode. We're gonna watch them out. If you can get the Saints off the waivers, you should have did it. Just like a lot of people should have done a lot of stuff before the show. But at the same time, look, Saints defense, special teams to ball against Pitt. I think that they're going to get a lot of sacks, a lot of turnovers. They're coming off a loss at Pittsburgh. Should be a shit show. Saints defense. I talked about Demario Davis. He's leading this defense to victory. I think that they're gonna get it done. Next defense I got on this list is Eagles defensive special teams versus Washington. The Eagles defense, you know, they should get it done this week against Washington. You know, I even on Monday night should be a shit show. I like the Eagles defense. I feel like they're gonna definitely produce and get it done. This week against Washington. The next defense I got on this list is the Raiders. I mean, believe it or not, versus Indianapolis, because Indianapolis so far, it's just been terrible.
It's so ugly in Indy.
It's just been awful. I mean,
they don't even know what they got going on.
You know, like Deion Jackson went down with a knee injury. Those who drafted Jonathan Taylor, I apologize, man. Last year, I had
you said you got him when it was hot.
I got it. You know,
it's like you know how people are talking about like the housing market is like if you didn't get your crib like in 2021, you got a bad deal.
I got it at a great rate. I got it at a great rate last year, leading rusher last year and everything. Hopefully he bounces back. I mean, but I don't see it this week. They got Jeff Saturday running the show now. They hired their old center to be the head coach.
Jeff Saturday's the coach over there?
Jeff Saturday from ESPN.
That nigga was just in ESPN, bro. Like yesterday.
He's the head coach now. So
you know what's funny? I saw his name, him and Jim Irsay's name on Twitter. I didn't know why they were talking about the both of them at the same time. But like, oh, he's the head coach?
Yes. Jeff Saturday, the old center, is the head coach.
That's crazy.
We will see how it goes. We don't know how it's gonna go, but we will see.
This nigga was just on ESPN calling.
I don't know how he's
arguing with Stephen A. Smith. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
This guy Stephen A.
It's a dumpster fire over there. They benched Matt Ryan. Yeah. Like, what are they doing?
Here's the thing. I just don't understand how you skip over the potential
the OC or the DC,
the potential head coaching candidate that you skipped over to hire your former center.
Did you not hear Jeff Saturday in the press conference?
No, I did not.
He said, "I'm surprised I got the job." That's what he said.
Yeah,
he said, "I'm surprised I got the job."
I wasn't even going for it.
Yeah. They said this is like one of the jokes to where like you put in for the job. You're just like, I'm gonna see if I can do this.
Yeah.
And then they're like, it's you. You're the guy. You're the guy. Like what the fuck? Like, okay, I guess I'm the guy.
He's gonna run the ball. I know that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. They're definitely gonna run the ball. He's definitely on the offensive. He's on offensive line's ass right now. So we're gonna see how that goes, but I don't see it this week. I think the Raiders gonna be able to get after them. I think the Raiders gonna shut that down. They got Sam.
Also the Raiders suck too. What are we talking about? The Raiders also suck. So what do you see?
But he did say
the Colts suck worse.
He said the quarterback for this. He said Matt Ryan's not starting this game still. So we'll see. The last defense I got on this list is the.
It might be time to put Matt Ryan back.
The last defense I got on this list is the Dallas Cowboys at Green Bay. The reason why this like hurts my soul is because I'm talking about a defense that is going into this game right now. I got Dallas shutting down Aaron Rodgers, man. The whole team's in walking boots and crutches.
Everybody.
I like everybody, man. It's not even a. I mean, you know, Romeo Dobbs, walking boot crutches. Aaron Jones, walking boot crutches. It's like those are the top two guys. Aaron Lazard probably like, yo, do I want to trot my ass back out there? I might get hurt out there, you know, like I might injure myself out there. I don't know. But I like the Cowboys defensive special teams this week. I feel like they might get one in Lambeau. I feel like the Cowboys, they're definitely coming off the bye. They had a lot of time to prepare for this game. Now they don't got to prepare for a lot of top playmakers. Aaron Jones is a little bit banged up. He's not going to be running the same way. They got one less pass catcher they got to prepare for. Robert Tonyan, they're going to take him out the game. Man, I like the Cowboys. I like the Cowboys defense to shut this down at Green Bay. And I mean, you know, those are going to be the starters for this week. That's what we got, man. Sorry for all the arguing, all the back and forth between these two.
What you mean sorry? That's how we do it over here.
Nah, man. I mean,
that's how we do it over here.
Y'all niggas going back and forth.
Antoine. Like Antoine don't be going back and forth. What are you talking about? What are we talking about?
You know, I'm fucking with y'all, man. But at the same time, that's what we do. These are the starters. Check them out. Run your same game parlays off for these guys right here. Gonna win you some bread. I'm about to run the same game minus the anytime touchdown scores because I haven't been hitting on the touchdown scores.
It's hard.
It's
tough. It's hard to score touchdowns.
Those are always toss-ups. You know what I'm saying? It's really also hard to decide who's going to be the one to score the touchdown.
But yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
But my anytime touchdown 8. Austin Eckler and Jalen Waddle last week. Yeah, Romeo Dobbs.
Justin Jefferson.
Down.
That was a bet y'all made. Y'all bet that
I paid
Justin
it out,
Jefferson.
man. We're gonna talk about. I paid it out. We're done.
Okay.
I saw.
He paid half the price though. He paid half the price.
How much was the bet, man?
He bet
$10.
Yeah, on both bets. Ain't gonna say that though. It was $10 on both bets. Josh Allen.
It was $5, man.
It was Josh Allen points and Jefferson.
It was
both
$5,
$10,
bro. $5.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Meg. Thank you, Meg.
Oh, I listened to it today. Head ass, nigga. You got it. Sheesh. What do you want me to do?
Hey,
Oh gosh.
that's how I talk to
Okay,
him.
I thought you 5, man. Bitch ass. Man.
10.
At the same time,
Both bets were 10.
So. Okay, cool. So we got Thursday night bet. Thursday night we got Carolina versus Atlanta. I like DJ Moore over 50 yards. I think DJ Moore gets them for 50 yards for sure. No AJ Terrell. I like DJ Moore as well. I like Cordell Patterson probably as an anytime touchdown scorer. I like Cordell Patterson probably to get in the zone. We just talked about a hard touchdown score, but they definitely gonna be able to move the ball. You know, Joe Mixon scored 5 times against the same defense last week, so I like Cordell Patterson to get one, and I like also we're gonna stay on the Falcon side. I like Kyle Pitts over 40 receiving yards. I'll go Kyle Pitts 40 receiving yards, DJ Moore 50 receiving yards, and also Cordell Patterson to score a touchdown. Shit, off of $10, you might win some lunch money. You might win like $90, but hey, it's more than what you had coming in. It is what it is.
That's
hey, bro,
money,
I mean,
man.
$95.
You might go spend that in the bar.
Yeah, you're gonna spend that the first two minutes in the bar. I mean, at the same time, you know, it is what it is. I feel like that's my 3-game parlay this week. DJ Moore 50 yards, Kyle Pitts 40, Cordell Patterson score a TD, $10 if you a betting man, $30 might get you 180. Hey,
you don't like Cordell Patterson over 50 rushing yards?
No, I'm sticking with the touchdown. And there you have it, man. Those are starting. Oh man!
Smacker, booty, and that.
What do we do, man?
But yeah, man. All right, so we yeah, man. So FanDuel, you know, you already know we're doing they got the no sweat bets going. They also got offers for first time users. You know what I'm saying? You place your first bet up to $1,000, and if it don't hit, you get that right back.
No sweat bet.
You know what I'm saying? No sweat bet. That's really cool. FanDuel is coming to Maryland soon, so I think they're also, if you sign up ASAP, I think they're giving out free bets as soon like on launch day. They're giving out a bunch of free bets to folks. So if you live in Maryland,
get ready.
You're now able to sign up for an account. You know what I'm saying?
Get ready
you can't
for that.
necessarily play.
Get ready for that,
yet.
man.
You know what I'm saying?
Get ready for that.
Unless you know what you're doing, man. Like I don't know, man. I'm not gonna say like I got it figured out, but like you can make money in betting if you're smart with it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you know what I'm saying, don't put your rent money on parlays. You know what I'm saying? You could put a good amount of money on straight bets.
Put your lunch money on there.
You know what I'm saying? You can put your money on straight bets, and then if you do research too, because like I be doing a lot of research. So like anything that I feel comfortable with, you might have like 3 or 4 plays that it's like, oh, I really feel confident in these. I parlay those, and then I parlay them, and then also play them straight so that, you know what I'm saying, if they do hit, I get some bread. If one hits, or if like 2 hit and 1 don't hit, then you know what I'm saying, you still get something. But that's neither here nor there.
Shout out to Drake College. They're up 11-0.
Drake, yeah, no, I need. Hey, you got Drake? You got Drake tonight? Plus 28 or plus 25?
No, I got them. I took the handicap.
The plus 25,
18.
Plus 18. Yeah, I got him minus 25. Facts. I got a minus 25 against IUPUI. They suck. IUPUI sucks.
About to turn into a betting show in a second.
Fucking weak. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the stardoms. You know what I'm saying?
Sit them.
Or sit them.
Take a little break.
I mean, that was the break.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
You gotta do your thing. Go do your thing.
Do my thing.
Sean P is gonna get into his sit-ems. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
In 1 second. As a matter of fact, yeah, let's actually take a little commercial break. We'll be right back.
Make sure my vocals right. Make sure the beat right. Welcome to the 5th show.
Time to cuff.
Powered by It's Nation TV.
Like, oh, no!
It's Nation TV.
That's why he tried to get in line.
Play Execute, have fun, dub.
I can do a lot more than what I think I can.
All right, we are back, and Sean P's gonna go ahead and get into his sit-ems. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and do that.
Let's get to it. Number one, I got Justin Herbert at San Francisco. Justin Herbert is down a lot of weapons right now. Keenan Allen hasn't played since week 1. They might as well put Keenan Allen
on IR or something, bro. Like, why are they teasing us?
It's season-ending injury or something.
Basically,
like
they're teasing us every week.
Every week is like, is he going to practice? No, not this week. Not this week. Not this week. So if you have Keenan Allen, I feel bad for you in fantasy. But yeah, Justin Herbert has no weapons. He has no Mike Williams. He has no Keenan Allen. The only guy that's been producing out there for the Chargers is Austin Eckler. I mean, Joshua Palmer looked okay last week.
What's Everett been doing? Everett.
Has he been producing?
Nah, he's not producing. Last week he put up, I want to say like 6 fantasy points last week. So he's not producing nothing. Nobody's producing. I mean, it's hard when you don't have your 2 top weapons.
It's not consistent.
Like Everett's not going to be open because you can put
a
guy on him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You can put
the guys that would be on Keenan Allen.
Exactly,
you can put
Keenan
on
Allen and Mike Williams. You know what I mean? So Herbert doesn't have the weapons, and playing at San Francisco, that's ranked 9th against quarterbacks. I don't like it this week. He's been struggling a lot, not having his weapons out there. So I'm not saying, like Tui said last week, I'm not sending these guys, but I'm sending Herbert. Like
Herbert.
Like if you got even like a Daniel Jones. Yeah. You got Geno Smith on your roster. Who am I going to start? I'm starting Geno over Justin Herbert this week.
100%. I agree with that.
So next up, we got Kirk Cousins at Buffalo. Playing at Buffalo is tough. It's never fun for quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins on the road this year averages 13.7 fantasy points on the road. So now they're playing on the road at Buffalo. That's ranked 3rd against quarterbacks. Double whammy. Playing that Buffalo's ranked 3rd against quarterbacks. I don't like it this week for Kirk Cousins. I don't, like you're starting Justin Jefferson. He can still have a good game with Kirk Cousins having a bad game, getting sacked, turnovers, interceptions. So I don't like Kirk Cousins this week at Buffalo. Number 3, got Jared Goff at Chicago. Jared Goff and Detroit have not been getting it done in these past weeks. Amon St. Brown started off hot. That shit is cold now. Like everything for Detroit, it's just going downhill with the offense. They couldn't do nothing last week against the Packers. Playing at Chicago. Chicago's a tricky defense. Like some weeks they give up a lot of yards and touchdowns, but when they play at home, I feel like they buckle down. They got Detroit this week, and I like Chicago's defense against Jared Goff.
Yeah, Chicago's actually been pretty impressive, man.
Yeah,
this year, and at least the last 4 games.
Justin Fields is coming along. Yeah, Also, you sit Aaron Rodgers this week, man. I know, like the last 3 weeks, I probably had Aaron Rodgers as a starter only because of my biased opinion. I dropped him today, so the biased opinion's gone. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is some shit.
Yeah,
it's like he's not some shit.
He's not some shit. It's just not his year, bro.
The Packers, they have no weapons over there for Aaron Rodgers. The offensive coordinator's not dialing it up. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is going through the motions, getting his money that he got on the offseason. He's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm Aaron Rodgers.
There's nobody on this team. I'm not going to do
two
too much.
MVPs in the last 2 years. Like, got my Super Bowl championship.
Got my ticket to
Aaron
Camden.
Rodgers is that cocky guy. He doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care what you think about
He's doing ayahuasca
He's
and
that
shit
type
like
of guy.
that.
Like I feel like he's a guy that he probably don't talk to his family type of guy.
He don't talk
You know?
to his family.
You know?
That's on record.
Jeez.
Oh,
No, he
that's
does.
on
No, yeah, I think he said he
That's
he
jeez,
disowned his
jeez.
family or some shit like that.
Damn.
That's like I thought that's why you said that. That's on
No,
record for sure.
I feel like
he don't
he's
fuck
that
with
type
his
of
family.
guy. He has not reached over 17 fantasy points this season. Aaron Rodgers hasn't had over 17 fantasy points this season.
Yeah, it's a good
Like,
shit.
That's
And how many times has he been on your stardom list?
You can drop him.
Too many.
times. So now I'm putting him on my sentums. You say Aaron Rodgers for the rest of the season. Like you
I'm
don't start.
fucking weak.
He remember what we said last week
You
against
can
Detroit.
drop. You can drop Aaron Rodgers.
Against
man.
Detroit, we said
If he
if he doesn't get it done this week,
drop
him.
That's what you said.
drop him.
You
So
can-
Aaron
you can-
Rodgers,
You can drop Aaron Rodgers.
he's no longer a starter in fantasy this year until they get a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So moving to the running backs, DeAndre Swift at Chicago. Chicago's ranked 26 against running backs. So this is a spot for DeAndre Swift to do his thing. But I don't feel like DeAndre Swift is 100%. He's still limited in practice. I don't think he's practiced full since he's been back. Jamal Williams still got him still in touchdowns. They're playing at Chicago. Like I said, Chicago's tricky. When they're at home, they play good defense. So I do not like DeAndre Swift this week. I don't like Swift till he's back to 100%. And Jamal Williams is not in Detroit. So I don't like DeAndre Swift at Chicago this week. Number 2, Antonio Gibson at Philly. Only
I got Najee Harris.
we
My
go.
bad. That's my bad.
Oh no, I'm tripping. So yeah, we got Najee Harris versus New Orleans. New Orleans
Like
defense is
Najee on
tough
the
against
list.
running backs. Very tough against running backs.
Yeah.
And Najee Harris, he's getting the touches. He averages 16.5 touches a game. 16.5, but he's not getting it done.
Is it because there's not really much going on in Pittsburgh? Like people
I think-
buckling down on him?
Yeah, they're buckling. The weapons aren't getting it done. You got Pickett throwing the ball, a rookie.
Yeah.
So they're just blitzing and they're getting at him. And
Najee or JT, bigger bust.
JT had one game.
Yeah, I think he had more expectations.
Yeah. I mean, they both had high expectations.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But they both were like top 5 picks in a lot of drafts. But I would say JT only because he's number 1. He's not doing shit. Been out 2 weeks. The only good, he hasn't scored a touchdown since week 1.
Jesus Christ. Really?
Week 1. It's his only touchdown of the
Who's
season.
scoring the touchdowns in Indy?
Nobody. So I do not like Najee versus New Orleans. New Orleans defense is good at stopping the run, and Najee Harris just can't seem to find his footing out there. I don't care. You're a running back. If you're a star running back, I don't care. Oh, the line's not blocking. You're still can make shit happen out there. Najee is just not looking. It's not looking good out there. Man.
No.
Even last year, like Najee was good as a rookie, but it took him 20 or more touches a game to do anything. You know what I mean? If he had anything under that, it was an average game for Najee Harris.
It's true.
So he had a good rookie season, but I think it was fluke just because of all the touches he got. He got touches like he was a veteran, like a 4-year veteran out there. So I don't like Najee this week against New Orleans. Number 3, we got Antonio Gibson at Philly. Only Ezekiel Elliott has had more than 11.9 points coming into Philly, playing at Philly this year. That's the highest fantasy point total for a running back playing in Philly. I don't like Gibson this week. Even with
What?
what's the guy we got out?
Brian Robson? Oh,
No.
out?
JD.
JD McKissick. Even with McKissick out, I don't like Antonio Gibson. And everybody thought he was going to have a big week last week against Minnesota. That didn't happen. So I definitely don't like him this week at Philly. Playing primetime Monday night. You know what Washington does in primetime, not show up. So I do not like Gibson this week at Philly.
Won our last primetime game.
On Monday?
Chicago.
What was that, Thursday night?
Primetime.
Thursday night, man.
Right time. They were the only one playing.
National TV.
Yeah,
We
Were we playing the 7-0 Philadelphia Eagles?
was playing on primetime.
At Philly?
You said primetime. You didn't say 7-0. I'm saying, hey,
Come on, Thursday and Monday night. Come on.
Fact checker.
no disrespect to Commanders.
I'm going to disrespect Antonio Gibson today. He ain't about to do shit.
Today. Disrespect him today.
Going number 4, got James Conner versus LA. LA is ranked number 8 against running backs. James Conner is just coming back from injury. He looked okay last week against Seattle, but that's Seattle that ranked 25th against running backs. This week he gets The Los Angeles Rams that's ranked 8th against running back, so I do not like James Conner this week. Coming back from injury, I need to see more from him. I need to see more from Arizona. Arizona's offense, they gave Kyler all that money in the offseason. He's not living up to it right now. Arizona, I thought for sure they were going to be a playoff team, but that's not happening. So I do not like James Conner this week against the Rams. Wide receivers. Got Michael Pittman. Quarterback situation, man. Michael Pittman is not a great wide receiver. He's a good wide receiver coming in his second year. Got a great matchup at Las Vegas. This is the matchup that you want for your wide receiver. Going against Las Vegas, who's ranked 26 against wide receivers. But the quarterback play is not there. I feel like Indy, they got Jeff Saturday now as their head coach. Surprising. No one thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, he didn't know it was going to happen.
I think he's just going to come out trying to run the ball with
your bell cow.
With your bell cow, Jonathan Taylor. I just feel like that's going to be the thing this week. I don't like Pittman. I mean, could be wrong. Pittman could get one. He could get some yards, but I wouldn't trust Pittman this week at Las Vegas.
Because he's a go-to guy in his own right. You know
yeah, but even in the good matchup, I don't trust him. Like, unless you have to start Pittman.
Trusting him is trusting Ellinger or whoever the fuck his name is.
You have to trust the quarterback to trust the wide receiver, and I don't see it this week. Coming in again, we got Adam Thielen at Buffalo. I didn't like Kirk Cousins, so I damn sure don't like Adam Thielen at Buffalo, who's ranked 11th against wide receivers. I feel like the only receiver that I'm starting this week from Minnesota is Justin Jefferson because he's Justin Jefferson.
Facts.
Like, I don't like Adam Thielen. I don't like Kirk Cousins playing at Buffalo. Again, Adam Thielen's been playing well. He's been getting 7 to 8 targets a game. But this week, they got a tough matchup against Buffalo. Tre'Davious White is back this week. I feel like Buffalo is at full health. They coming off a loss. I feel like they're going to be out there firing. I feel like Minnesota might be the worst 7-1 team I've seen in a long time.
Really?
Yes.
Why you say the worst?
Because I don't feel like they're playing like a 7-1 team. I don't know.
They're winning games.
I mean, when you hear 7-1, you think of domination. Like how Philly's dominating teams.
They're not worse than the Steelers were that year that the Washington Redskins beat them when they were 8-0.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was like a couple of years ago.
They're not worse than them.
I said 7-1, but yeah, they probably the worst 7-1 team I've seen in a long time. I don't know. I don't see them being like a contender to contend right now at 7-1. You look at that team to contend for what?
Championship.
A championship. I don't see that in them.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, when I think of Minnesota, I do not think Super Bowl right now.
I just don't think they're the worst 7-1 team you ever seen.
I mean, they're probably not, but I just don't see. I don't see Super Bowl.
I don't see Super Bowl.
I don't see Super Bowl either. I don't even see a deep playoff.
Exactly.
I feel like this is all fun and games right now.
I feel like first round exit.
That's what I mean when I say that.
It was lost to
First round exit.
They winning these close ass games.
Exactly. That's what I mean when I say that. But they're a good football team, but Super Bowl bound 7-1. When I think 7-1, I'm like, no, these guys contenders.
No, yeah, not them.
They're pretenders.
Okay.
But yeah, coming number 3, Drake London hasn't scored more than 7.5 fantasy points in the last 6 games. Coming his first 3 weeks, you like, dog, this guy's about to be a star in the league. And then Atlanta just stopped throwing the football.
Yeah.
They just run the football. Tyler Algier, like you said, had 99 yards last week. Cordell Patterson scored 2 touchdowns. It's just going to be that type of way. You're playing Caleb Huntley this week. I don't know why, but bro, what are you doing? If you're out there, please get him
Shut
out
it
of
down.
there.
Shut it down. Let the man set his lineup, man. Let the man
Please get him out of there.
Let the man set his lineup. Who's going to throw in there?
Who? Anybody else. He's no longer a factor. You might go back to the practice squad. Like, what is he doing? But yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
They're out.
Drake London is not the answer. Even a good matchup against Carolina is ranked 20. They're ranked 26 against wide receivers.
Caleb Huntley scored
but I know
30 points on Thursday.
If the quarterback's not throwing the football, how can the wide receiver catch the football? So stay away from Drake London until further notice, until they switch quarterbacks.
Switch quarterbacks.
Coming in, we got Brandon Cooks. He didn't play last week. He's mad. He's not happy in Houston. So why would you start him on your fantasy team? If you got a player that's not happy somewhere, what do you think he's going to go out there and do? No, he's going to not perform so he can get out of there. You know what I mean? And New York ranks 5th against wide receivers. It's not like he's playing a cupcake matchup. this is a bad matchup. Even if Brandon Cooks wasn't mad, this is probably a matchup.
Still a
that
tough
you-
matchup.
Still a tough matchup. You say you probably sit Brandon Cooks
True.
at New York. So I don't like him this week. Tight ends. You asked about Gerald Everett. He's on my sit-ems. At San Francisco, I don't like Justin Herbert. And I feel like Gerald Everett's his best target, so I'm not going to like his best target. At San Francisco, who they rank 10th against wide receivers. Like I said, there's no Mike Williams, no Keenan Allen. So when you don't have your two best weapons, the only guy that can get open is Travis Kelce in that sense as for
Yeah.
wide. Him and Mark Andrews are the only guys that can get open when you don't have down to field guys that's injured. You got Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Until further notice, until one of those guys come back, I do not start Gerald Everett in fantasy. Number 2, Robert Tonyan. It seems like it's a tight end by committee right now in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is playing not his best football right now, so I wouldn't start Robert Tonyan against one of the top 5 defenses in the league. I do not like him this week. Dallas is ranked number 11th against tight ends. Aaron Rodgers is not playing good football, so I don't like him this week against Dallas. Number 3, Pat Freiermuth. New Orleans is ranked number 1 against tight ends. Number 1. So you think you can go out there and start him with a rookie quarterback with an offense that's not moving the ball? No, you sit Pat Freiermuth. I would start tight end from Seattle. Noah Fant. I would start him over Freiermuth this week because he has the number 1 ranked defense. I don't like Freiermuth this week. You sit him this week against New Orleans. Number 4, Taysom Hill. Pitt is ranked number 7th against tight ends. Everyone is still thinking about that week 5 game where he had 33 points. That's the only reason he's still in starting lineups, because he had 33 points in one game as a tight end. Yeah, that's good, but Taysom Hill is a dart throw. He's a guy that 1 week can get you 20, the next week can give you 3.
Yeah, I don't know if
Next week he
anybody's
give you
been
3.
watching them Pittsburgh defenses, but it's a lot of that. Those tight ends don't perform because a lot of people they're trash on defense. But Minkah Fitzpatrick plays safety on that defense. Like Minkah Fitzpatrick was an all-pro last year. So I mean, he's still there. And his main job is to take away the tight end. Usually, if they play in man coverage, he's going to be lined up over the tight end. I don't see it for 7 out there either. So I mean, those are and last week when they played the Ravens on Monday night, when he got in the game, I don't know if y'all was watching the game. I heard sweep on TV.
Oh, they're ready.
When Taysom was in the game.
Whenever Taysom's at quarterback, just go for him. Why are you going for anyone else?
Yeah,
he's not throwing. He probably throws the ball. He probably throws the ball 1% of the time that he's back there. But I mean, you got to respect it because he is a quarterback by nature, so he can throw the ball. But still, bro, he's running.
He ain't worried about that.
He's running. Moving to the defense, special teams. Buccaneers at Seattle. Buccaneers defense hasn't been performing. Like week 3, I think they were like number 2 in fantasy points scored. But now, I don't know. I feel like because Tom Brady's not playing good football, they're on defense a lot. In Seattle, Geno Smith is I think he's the number 1 most efficient quarterback in the league right now when it comes to completion percentage.
Yeah, Geno's nice.
He's number 1. Geno, what's it? Pete Carroll knew what he was doing. He said before
Russell.
Before training camp was over, they got rid of Russell and he named Geno the starter right away. He said Geno is our guy, and they're 6-3, number 1 in the division. Who would have thought that?
Hey, he ain't running back, nigga.
Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that?
Mail
right
still
now,
coming in.
That Seattle,
Motherfucker still coming. Motherfucker still writing.
That Seattle would be the number 1 team in the NFC West. Would you think that right now?
No, with Russ, I think they'll be struggling.
Yeah, struggling.
I think they'll be struggling. They'll be struggling.
Geno.
Look, Denver was like, "Bull."
They go,
we're like, we'll take them.
And they got hella picks for that. They're about to be sharp.
They came up.
They about to be sharp. And they didn't trade DK. They still got Lockett. They got Ken Walker back there.
We'll get you a nice tackle.
Duh.
We'll get you a nice tackle.
Duh.
We already got a wide out.
Hey, shout out Pete Carroll and that organization.
Yeah, shout out Seattle.
That's a great move.
Like, who do we draft?
They didn't get a first round. They got a first round.
We're going BPA.
Yeah.
We're going BPA.
Build up that defense.
Best player available.
Hey, good job, Seattle. That was good GMing, good ownership,
good managing,
good managing,
good
great
move all
managing.
around.
like
great managing. Bye.
Coming up next, Colts
good
at
riddance.
Las Vegas.
Oh.
I don't like Las Vegas that much, but I just feel like this could be. I feel like Las Vegas can put up points against the Colts. They're playing at Las Vegas.
Shit, the Patriots did. Patriots offense ain't nothing.
Yeah. I feel like Las Vegas is due for a big game, and I feel like this is the one they get. Devontae Adams came alive last week. They still got the L, but they look better as an offensive unit.
Okay.
And I feel like this week against the Colts, I wouldn't start the Colts defense. I feel like this is not the time to start the Colts defense going against Las Vegas. I feel like Las Vegas last week, it was a lot of their defense. They didn't really do anything on offense in the second half. All their points came in the first half, but I still feel like their defense is giving up a lot of points. And I feel like the Colts are going to be able to run the ball, move the ball on offense. And I feel like this could be a high scoring more. If you're a bet man, bet the over on this game because I'm sure it's low.
Bet the over?
Bet the over on this one. I feel like more points are going to be scored than people think.
I don't think the Colts going to be scoring points, bro.
I think they are. I feel like this is the game that this quarterback that the Colts put in, this is the game that he excels in right here. Going against Las Vegas.
I got the Raiders defense as a stardom. You got the Colts defense as a sit-em. I mean, it works. But I don't know, bro. I mean, I don't know who's putting up points over there, man.
So you think the Colts defense is a starter? I feel like Josh Jacobs is going to be able to run the ball.
They just fired their head coach too. The Raiders and the coaches fired their head coaches.
It's going to be a lot of offense scored. Watch. A lot of points scored in this one.
A lot of dysfunctionality going on in this game.
Big facts.
Exactly, bro. Watch.
They're all over the place.
Watch.
Kick return touchdowns.
You know,
special teams.
every week it's that game that this is going to be a low score.
Barn burner.
I feel like this is going to be a lot of points scored in this one. Watch.
We're going to see, man.
Moving along. Dolphins versus Cleveland. Dolphins can't stop the run. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, I feel like, are going to have field days in this one. I feel like this could be a high-scoring game. Jacoby Brissett, play action with that run working. I feel like they're going to be able to put up points against the Dolphins. I feel like this is going to be a high-scoring affair right here.
I think Kareem gets one in this game.
Versus Cleveland. I feel like Kareem and Nick Chubb scores in this game. I feel like this is going to be a lot of points. Jalen Waddle scores. Tyreek gets another touchdown.
Gesicki gets in on the action.
Nah, not just saying. But I feel like the stars,
not him.
the stars are going to score in this one. I like Amari Cooper in this one. I like Nick Chubb. I like all the stars in this one. I like you say, you like Raheem and Jeff Wilson.
I like Raheem and Jeff.
I feel like it's going to be a lot of points and yards scored in this game.
So you got Cleveland sitting too. You got Cleveland next.
I got the Panthers defense versus Atlanta again. Only reason I got
2 weeks ago.
Atlanta runs the football.
I mean, 2 weeks
And
ago too.
the
You saw the
Panthers,
game 2 weeks ago, right?
They are 26 against running backs. They can't stop the run. So I feel like Mariota play action again. I feel like they're gonna be able to move the ball
and you also
down the field.
And you saw the game 2 weeks ago.
Nah, I ain't talking about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, NFL is a weekly game, man. Fantasy football is a weekly
These teams
game.
familiar with each other.
NFL is a weekly game.
Shit show tomorrow.
Oh, they did just play 2 weeks
That's
ago.
what I'm saying. Like, they play tomorrow.
They played 2 weeks ago.
They
and
play
it was
tomorrow,
like,
Thursday night.
It was,
it's going to be a shit show.
Overtime game.
You guys waiting for fireworks? It's going to happen tomorrow. Like
you start the Panthers defense?
No.
Oh,
no.
They gave up 30 plus to them.
No.
yeah.
No.
Like
40, I think.
Atlanta's gonna be able to run the ball in this one.
I got Algier starting.
Yeah, that's right. Not even start running back. That's true. So yeah,
Exactly.
big game from Algier and Cordell Patterson and Mariota. Anytime touchdown score, if you're a betting man,
Algier.
he's probably at plus 200. Put Mariota.
If you're
in
a
there,
betting man, Algier is probably at plus 450.
No, he's not.
Going for the.
He gets burned, bro.
No,
like
he doesn't score a touchdown.
But he gets
Exactly.
burned.
You don't score a touchdown.
But he gets
I think he scored a
burned.
touchdown.
No, he did.
this
He
year.
scored.
One?
Algier scored a
the
touchdown.
pass.
He
On a
did.
pass.
He did.
But he gets
He
burned.
scored though.
No, he scored.
Patrick Cordell Patterson's running over fucking linebackers out there, so he's definitely the goal linebacker. I mean, that's it for the Sims, man. My bad. Let Pete take it away.
You got it, man. That shit was crazy, but that wraps up the sentence for this week.
Let's go.
You see the list? Go with me. I mean, you got guys on the list.
Got
on this
unders.
list that you got to start.
Those the unders.
I feel you.
Those
Yeah,
the unders.
these
I'm
are
the over.
unders. Yeah.
Under over. That's how it is. Stardom Sit-Ems is really
What
over
say?
unders. We trying to win. We trying to make some money, dog. We all trying to get rich off the show. We trying to win our fantasy leagues. and increase our bank accounts.
Get rich or die trying, man.
Hey,
That's what it's
nah,
about.
don't die, but have fun trying. How about you have fun
trying?
Oh,
Make friends
This is
trying.
a family show. I'm sorry.
Make friends trying.
I'm not trying to go.
I know.
All right, man. That's gonna do it for the show. Shout
I
out
got
to
a camera on
everybody
him
that
this
tuned
week,
in.
huh?
That one's dead. That one's dead. Look, there's no third camera. You see it? There's no third camera, nigga. I'm just trying to wrap the show up, bro. Unless one of y'all want to do it. Unless one of y'all want to wrap the show up.
No, we good.
The third camera's dead.
We both can wrap the show up, bro. I'm
Go ahead.
just
Go
saying,
for it.
like,
Go for it.
Hey, look,
Go
the
for it.
fans can't see what we looking at. We just
They
saw,
see y'all,
we just
though.
saw. Yeah, all right, bet. Y'all see us. Y'all see us geeking. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. You know, now I'm saying, hey, the fantasy, SJT, we still gonna put J. We still gonna put my man John.
You still got the J in there. And we gonna take your
man
ass
John.
out if you don't come back though.
Hey, look, when I come back like Jordan wearing the full
Win the championship and all
play
that.
games with you.
Win
Hey,
the
here's the thing,
championship
though.
and all
Hey,
that.
Hey, but here's the thing, John like killing in the fantasy too. We need
Yeah.
you back on the show.
He doing all right out there, man. 2 years in a row, he flew gas years.
Are we making the
look,
playoffs, P?
It don't matter. But I'm gonna come back next year and win the championship.
No, look, here's the thing. He said the same shit last year. But here's the thing. How many more times you gonna say it? Let's wrap it up. Look, follow us. SJT, you already know
The fantasy with SJT.
The fantasy with SJT.
On Twitter,
Nigga
Instagram.
just said SJT.
Twitter,
Tweets, you ain't got no
Instagram,
social
Twitter. I
media.
don't got no social
On
media.
Twitter,
so
Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, we there. Follow us. The Fantasy with SJT. Checking out. Deuces.
all day, every day.
Bet.
Now y'all know me. I come in. I'm confident. Thank you. We're gonna see.